welcome again to another great video game ideas not used video, GVGINU for short. As always, I'm Andre, and you probably heard the break in my voice as I got hung up. Yep, you probably read the title of this video, and yeah, I'm as baffled as all of you that have common sense. Because this is not. Wow. And I know I'm late getting to this. It's no big deal to me that I'm late getting to it. But the problem is that I've actually looked at the petitions to get the Xbox One changed back. Major problems there. Not because of the petitions themselves, but because there are so many people signing the petitions, which is ridiculously stupid to me. And the fact is, most of the people that are signing are actually PS4 fanboys. And that is no bullshit. That is literal. I will link the petitions in the description below, and I will let you look through the fucking signatures. A lot of them are people who are actually PS4 fanboys. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I did remember making a video back in May, stating that console fanboyism is dumb as fuck. And this is one of the reasons why. Now these people sitting there trolling and all this shit on these Xbox One petitions aren't thinking about the fact that the companies aren't going to look at the fucking comments along with the signatures. They're just going to look at the number of the signatures on the petitions. And if those numbers rise high enough, we're in for shit. Now, I don't get why it's so difficult to comprehend that video game companies are mirroring each other. That's what Microsoft and Sony have been doing. They've been mirroring each other simply because it's an easy way to get a stance on what your customers want. If one company makes a bad move, the other one makes the opposite move. That's what they've been doing. But the fact is that people are signing this petition, they're actually supporting these changes, which means them supporting these changes might make Sony say, hey, they signed that petition for the Xbox One to be changed back. Maybe if we implement the same thing, they'll want our stuff too. I mean, it's granted, I don't think Sony is going to be that quick to jump on it, right? Honestly, but if it sits like that, these petitions get signed enough, we're fucked. And I mean, I can agree that the features that were going to come with the Xbox One while it was DRM locked were great. Being able to share your games without having to, like, take the disc to someone's house, being able to share your games with your family members and things like that. But at the same time, there were too many restrictions that held that shit back. And nobody said to Microsoft that they had to take away those features. They just wanted the restrictions removed. So basically, with Microsoft removing the restrictions, they took away the features and just basically stuck their tongue out in people's faces and said, fuck you. You don't want to do things our way, we're not going to give you the features that we promised. And that's pretty much what they're doing. Which in and of itself is fucking backwards as hell. But that's what it is. I'm sorry, a 24-hour check-in for a console if you're not going to be playing online is ridiculous. Now, there should have been an opt-in option for you to just say, hey, look, I want to do this because I want these additional features. Fine, give that to people. But don't sit there and say, hey, well, since the majority of people didn't want this, we're going to take away all of the good shit about the console that you liked. That way, you'll want back the simple-minded, locked and restricted console that we were trying to give you in the first place. And I think Total Biscuit has said it. There was a game that was being produced by a company that wouldn't have been able to play the game that they made in their own country because of the restrictions and the region lock. Wow, Legion lock. Whoa, tongue tied there. But the region lock. So you mean to tell me y'all want pretty much all this. Well, no, they did say they don't want it to be region locked. Like, you can't have, like, basically, if they're going to put all this DRM shit back in, then yes, they're going to region lock the fuck out of this console. They're not going to sit there and consider that shit. Like, what the fuck for? Like, we're giving you everything else you want back, so why the fuck do we have to keep that? That's basic mentality that can be handled, that can be had. Getting tongue tied. That can be had there. And I'm personally agitated that people are using their fanboy fucking mindsets to sign this petition. It's fucking stupid. I understand you might not like Microsoft. That's all fine and dandy. You don't have to buy their product. But don't fuck it up for the people that might actually consider getting it. Like, yeah, I'm personally still not sold on the Xbox One because at any time they could always reinstate those policies. But I'm definitely not going to say, hey, I want that shit back. No, it's not fucking happening, and I'm not going to be retarded enough to do that. Whether or not these people are trolling the shit out of people by putting these fucking stupid ass petitions up, they're showing support for these policies one way or the other. And the bottom line, the companies aren't going to look at the personal comments. They're definitely not going to sit there and look at the personal comments. They're going to look at, hey, we got, okay, this petition looking for 10,000 signatures. They got 9,000. They're not going to sit there and weed through all of the fucking comments. This is why I don't get why people are signing these things. If you understand you don't like Microsoft, fine. But that's just like somebody putting up a petition to Sony and asking them for the exact same shit. Would you want a bunch of people that are MS fans trolling the fuck out of it, saying, yeah, we want to see the PS4 sync and we're going to go ahead and sign this petition and be stupid as fuck? No, you wouldn't want that. I know I don't. I definitely wouldn't want that shit to happen to PS4 or the Wii U. And I don't want it to happen to the Xbox One. This is why I don't get the logic. I don't understand it. It's like, you're not even, like, people aren't using complete thoughts here. They're basing it off the first initial thing that comes to mind, and they're going to just run with it. And half the time you do that type of shit, you run into some stupid, fucked up, crazy situations. And in this case, logically speaking, and I'm trying my best not to get angry, but logically speaking, if the Xbox One reinstates these policies because people signed a petition, a group of petitions asking for it, wanting it back, we are fucked. I mean, Nintendo more than likely isn't going to do it, but if there's a strong enough pull for it, I have no doubt in my mind that they would do it as well as Sony. Like, if you think about it, Sony had considered this shit. They didn't actively implement it because they saw the negative feedback on the Xbox One, but you can't tell me that they didn't think about it. There's no way in the world they didn't. So I'm just like, why are people... Look, if you sign that shit, you're basically saying fuck gaming the way it is. I mean, I understand people want digital and all that shit, but I'm as a person that likes to collect shit, like collect their games, I want a physical copy. I don't want it for everything, but there are some games that I just want to have a physical copy. I prefer to have a physical copy. Like big games, I don't want to have that stored on my console. I would, because it would take up way too much fucking space. And I'm just like, what the... I don't get the dumbass mindset that's in place right now. Like, disagree with me all you want, fine, because I've noticed that people have like seen my video about petitioning against the Xbox One, and they didn't care for it. So I'm like, fine, don't like it, but understand where I'm coming from. Like, you don't have to agree with me, but you have to at some point in your mind say, well, if this happens, what's going to follow that? That's the thing that I think about. I don't think about just the here and now. I'm thinking about what's coming after that. And it looks like a lot of people aren't thinking about that. I mean, if honestly, you want all this DRM stuff, go to Steam. You'll get much better deals. You'll be able to get more games, and you'll be happier rather than sticking it on a physical console. Because Steam is actually doing it the right way. The way that Microsoft presented it, they weren't going to do the same things that Valve is doing with Steam. There's nowhere in their documentation did they say, "Hey, or not at all anywhere did they say, well, yeah, we'll be giving gamers deals. We'll let them be able to pick up games for like up to 80% off the original retail price. We'll sell directly to the consumer." They didn't say any of that shit. It's like, well, they want your money, and they want you to basically hand it right the fuck over without forethought. And a lot of people assumed, like, as in one of these, I think one or both of them assumed it, that it was going to be basically like Steam. Not so. I mean, in no way, shape, or form do I think that, one, Microsoft is going to allow people to put up mods of the games that are on the market for other people to play. Valve does that because Valve looks at the mods that are made to see if they're fully marketable mods or if just people would just enjoy playing them. And Microsoft's not going to do that. They're not going to sit down and take the time to figure out what games people want the most and then drop the prices on that game on that game and see it just sell the fuck like hotcakes and shit. They're not going to do that. They're going to put it out there no matter what, whether or not it is disc or not. They're going to charge you $60+ for the game. That is truth. They're going to charge you $60+ for it. Oh gosh, yeah. Oh man, it's still kind of early for me, so yeah, don't disregard that. But and even with sharing games, it's just like there's a lot of stuff that's written in the fine print that people probably didn't read. But it gets to the point where you can't really do much without one, with the original restrictions at least. One, if you want to play your game on someone else's console, you have to download the game to the console. You literally have to, or else it won't play. That's why they were talking about leaving bits of the game's information on the console so that people can go back and purchase it, which was, yes, that's a good idea, but that actually takes up additional space as well that people probably aren't willing to give up because they want to have it for their game saves and like any videos and stuff that they have on their console. Me personally, it would be straight up game saves and maybe like arcade games and stuff like that. But it's just I'm sitting here just befuddled trying to figure out what made people want this shit back. And I am even more confused as to why people allow their fanboy habits to dictate what actions they're going to take. Like, if you don't want to support the console, don't support it. But don't push for stupid shit like this. All it's going to do, you're going to be sitting there one day, hey, these petitions meet their goal, and then they make a bigger goal and they meet that. And these companies see this. I mean, obviously, Microsoft's going to just go right back to instituting their DRM policies. Sony will follow suit. Whether or not you agree with me, that is the case of the situation. They will follow suit. I understand people, like I said, you're a fan of whatever console you are, fine. Fuck it. As stupid as I think that is, go ahead and be who you are. See, I personally like to play games of a wide variety. So for that to happen, there has to be more consoles out for me to be able to pick upon that variety and choose what I like to play. But for people who want to see a company close down for no reason other than their own selfish hatred of the company, this is the way to go. Right here. This stupid shit. Go ahead and support it if that's how you feel. Go ahead and support this stupid shit, and you will see the gaming, at least the console side of the gaming industry, fucking fall to pieces. Then there will be pretty much no choice but to game on PC, and then that will piss off a lot of people, or people will stop playing games in general because there are a lot of people who aren't comfortable playing on PC. And I've personally found some very awesome games on PC that I'm going to play and enjoy and be happy with. But in no way, shape, or form am I going to ever just stop playing on consoles. It's just how I am. Like I said, I like options. But this is just ridiculous. It really is. It's one of those things I wish I could just get into these people's heads and just like see for myself what they're thinking. I personally just don't understand it. I don't like it. It's not something I agree with. But hey, that's just how it is for me. I mean, I can't make everybody else's choices, and I can't make them think the way I do. Because if a lot of people thought like me, then this would be a really weird, fucked up planet. But at the same time, it would be very interesting. But either way, it's just, if you think about it, just think, sit down and think it through. There's more implications than just, hey, Microsoft's going to fall to shit. Microsoft's going to go under. So it's pretty much more than that to it. And now I'm getting called. I'm not answering that call because it's not an important one. But that's basically it. I don't really have too much more to say on it. I mean, yeah, I'm pretty sure I missed some points. But my biggest point is the restrictions that you don't want are the ones that will travel across to everything. That's how I see it. I mean, yeah, personally, my view means less to people than anything. But just thinking it out, that's the direction I see it going. And usually, I'm right when it comes to like big things like this. At least from my own personal experience, I've seen things like this, and I'm like, well, that's going to go. If this continues down this path, this is what's going to happen. It's just a logical conclusion. But anyway, thank you for taking the time to view this video. Yeah. Keep your eye out for more of my stuff, and until the next time, enjoy your games.